Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and welcome to day one of my Halloween series for 2018. And this is the annual Halloween series. So for this one, I'm going to feature Spellbinders. So for each one of the days, I'm not quite sure how many days this is going to go, but for each one of the days, I'm going to feature a certain company or product. So for this one, we are looking at Spellbinders, and I recently am now a subscriber to the large and small die of the month for them, and I am absolutely loving it. Whenever I do a subscription, I play around with it for a little bit in the background, see how it goes, see how I like it, and this one is definitely one. So when I saw the large die with these dies and cutouts, I just knew it had to be part of my series. So the small die is just as great, but I just really want to focus on the large die. So what the large die is actually going to make is a lantern. So I thought that was really cool. So for the one die with the tabs, you cut 4 of those, and you cut 1 of the square. Then you get 4 different cutouts for each of your side panels. So one has a cat, one says trick or treat, another one is a pumpkin that says spooky, or is written spooky. Pumpkins don't say spooky. And then we have a bunch of ghosts floating around with Boo in the center of them. So one of the things that I really do like about Spellbinders dies is the way they cut. They do cut through paper like butter. I've never, very rarely do I have a problem with pieces still being stuck in. 9 out of 10, I can just take my fingers just the way that I'm doing and just wiggle around, and those pieces come right out. Now the die cutting machine that I do use always when it comes to my videos is a Spellbinders Platinum 6. I like it because it folds up, it's compact, and it's just great to use. It's very solid. So I have used Spellbinders dies in other die cutting machines, and they work just the same. So just a little tidbit there. So, okay, back to the lantern thing here that we're making. So for each one of the ones that you've cut out, there are these tabs, and there is a score line there. Now, for right now, I like to use my fingers. These are, when you do the center cutout, they do get fragile, or fragile. So however we want to say that. Because there's not, all the cardstock's not there. So there is a thin border that goes around these. And if you bend it too fast or automatically with a bone folder, you could actually bend it on the, not on that line. So my suggestion is use your fingers just as I'm doing, ease it down. We've already broken those fibers with the die. And then once you get it on your table, then you can use your fingers or your bone folder. For something like this, I really don't pull the bone folder in yet. I think I'm good with using my fingers and just getting those folded over. So now that I have all of those die cut and ready to go, I want to work on the panels that are going to go in behind. So I'm going to be using Wilted Violet, Twisted Citron, and Carved Pumpkin. And yes, there's only 3. So I had shown this where I take the Distress Oxide. This is a piece of vellum. I just swipe the whole pad right down onto the vellum, and then I take my towel and wipe the ink away. It will actually dye the vellum, and it will stay there. I've tried to wipe it away. I really like this effect. I like the look. I like the softness. It can be done with dye inks as well. I just like the colors when it comes to the oxides. It's just a preference of mine. This is the only way that I have done this technique, are with the oxides. But when I did this before, many of you, which I am so thankful for, had come back and said, yes, it works with dye inks. So have fun with it. You'll be washing some towels or paper towels, or throw those away. But it's a lot of fun. I do let them dry for just a short amount of time. And I used the base dye that we used for the black, the base of it. I used that same dye to cut these panels out. So I left one without any oxide, just as the plain white vellum that I have. So along those edges, along the flat edge, not those that are folded up, excuse me, I'm using my liquid adhesive, and for this I am using my Nuvo liquid adhesive, and I'm just going to put a thin bead around the outside, and then I'm going to place my vellum down. Now, I didn't go down far enough. That's why it looks like this. I just kind of plopped it down there. But these are perfectly sized to fit right in those areas. I am not putting any glue behind the die cut. I don't want to do that. I like the way that it gives that texture with it coming off of that. The space in between, if it should move. So I did not want to glue down the photo that was die cut out. So, of course, the white went with the ghosts. The carved pumpkin went with the pumpkin. I'm going to use the wilted violet panel for the cat. For some reason, I always, whenever I see black cats, I see purple. But I do like purple and black for Halloween. Kind of my colors. And then, of course, the twisted citron is going to go in back of the trick or treat. And I'm just using either my small, my cutter bee scissors, or my large shears that I absolutely love, just to trim off the little bit so that it's not sticking out. But they, again, they do fit absolutely perfectly in the areas. So you really don't have to trim, like that one. I didn't have to trim it because I actually set it down right. But it's okay if you have to trim. So those are our 4 panels. So let's get our lantern together. So what I chose to do, now I'm going to just flatten these out a little bit. I'm going to use some double-sided tape. Now this is, oh my goodness, I forget. It's not Be Creative. It's not Scrapbook. I get it from, I forget what it's called now. I think it's Scrappy Time. I will make sure it's linked down below. So I'm putting a piece of this. This is the 1/4 inch. And I'm putting that on each of the tabs that are sticking out. I'm sorry, this is my scrapbook. It's a double-sided tape. I'll find out which one I used. And I'm putting it on the 2 tabs that are sticking out. This is where I bring in my paper creaser. I just want to go over the tape to make sure that I have a good connect with the tape and the cardstock. And then I'm going to, with that bottom one, I'm going to do all the bottoms first. And I'm going to place them within, it's technically the inside of the base, but the base is going to go on top of that bottom piece. Now you will see on one of these I pull off the wrong side, but that's okay. I just put the release paper back on. So you can see the base, that's what you're going to see. You're not going to see those tabs. I'm putting those on the inside. And here's where I tear off the wrong one and go, oh, that's not good. Okay, here we go. We're going to put that back on. There we go. See? We can still make it work. So we're going to pull off the bottom. I'm just folding in the tape that's hanging over the edge of the tab, so that it's just up on the tab. It's okay if it's on the inside. It's not going to cause any damage or anything like that, unless you want to put food in here. I mean, this would be a great candy, little tiny candy dish on a table as well. Doesn't have to be a lantern. So now that I have each of the panels on securely to the base, I'm now going to pull off the release paper for the sides. Now here's a little trick, and it took me a while to learn this. So while the release paper is still on, you want to fold that in. you want to make sure that you've got a good fold, not a crease, but a good fold on it, so that when you put your finger, like here I go, I'm folding it down now, then I'm going to pull the release, and then I can just lay the next panel right on top of it. It just worked a lot easier than the first one that I did. So again, I'm just folding in those tapes. Now for the last one, I'm going to pull the release tape off of both. I'm going to make sure that they're folded in. I'm going to start on my right, put that one in first, and then I'm going to go right down with the other one. Here I'm going to use my paper creaser just to get into the corners, to make sure the tab is down, to make sure I've got a good corner there and good contact with all of my tape. So the lantern, again, you can put candy in these. Wrapped candies would be good, but these are the lanterns. We do not want to put a live flame in our lantern. It's paper. So the battery operated tea lights are perfect for this. So I'm going to turn my lights off, and this is what it will look like. So you do lose the colors of if it's dark in the room and you have this lit, but it is a great lantern. It's just enough light in there. I think it looks great. Okay, lights back on. But during the day, you still have the colors. So I thought that was really cool. So here's the close-up of the project that we made today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're going to enjoy my Halloween series for 2018. All the products that I used will be listed down below, and of course a link to the large and the small die clubs. You can also do them individually if you're interested. If you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. And don't forget, make sure you like and subscribe. You don't want to miss any more videos that are coming out. I hope everyone is having a great day, getting ready for the great Halloween night that's coming up soon. I can't wait. I already got my hat. It's going to be awesome. But always remember what's most important. Always be creative.